Well, back here in South Philadelphia, Kevin McAlpin for 680 The Fan and the Braves Radio Network. Happy Saturday to you. Hope you're having a great start to your weekend. The Braves and the Phillies getting ready to continue their three-game series coming up a little bit later on this afternoon. 4:05 is your scheduled first pitch, and I can tell you the weather does not get a whole lot better than this. Sunny skies, temperatures expected to be in the low to mid 70s around first pitch, so a perfect day for baseball. Of course, Thursday, not too shabby as well as the Braves drop their opener. Big day for the Phillies offense, of course, with a big grand slam from Rhys Hoskins. We saw Bryce Harper make his Philly debut along with Andrew McCutchen and JT Realmuto along with Gene Segura. So the Braves are going to look to even this thing up at a game apiece today, and they will send Bryce Wilson to the mound, making his second career big league start. Of course, he broke into the bigs last season, making that appearance for the Braves on the mound in Pittsburgh. Looked really good, and of course, there's a reason why he is starting Game 2 of the regular season. His spring training was fantastic. I think mixing in the slider, having that third pitch in his arsenal, a big key for his development. So what to look for today, of course, Wilson, his fastball is going to sit in the mid-90s, 95, 96, but that slider and the changeup have been two really big pitches for him this spring. He threw some really good ones against guys like Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton against the Yankees a couple of weeks ago down at Disney. And again, there's a reason why he's starting Game 2 of the regular season. Braves like the matchup with a lot of right-handed bats in the Philly order, and they like the bulldog mentality of Bryce Wilson when he goes out there on the mound. He's a guy that's going to throw a lot of strikes, and that's a good sign when you see these young Braves pitchers. Last couple of years, way too many walks, way too many 2-1, 3-1 counts. I don't expect to see that from Bryce Wilson here today when he takes the mound. And again, that slider has a lot of late life, and that's been a really good pitch for him this spring. So look for him to use that more here today. And I'm coming to you from right outside the Braves bullpen out here in center field, and Bryce Wilson will be warming up here in just a couple of hours. Nick Pivetta goes for the Phillies, another good young right-handed starter for Gabe Kapler's bunch. What to watch for from Nick Pivetta? Well, first and foremost, the guy throws strikes. 180 plus strikeouts last season in a little over 160 innings, so better than a K per inning. He's not going to give up a whole lot of walks. He's not going to give up a lot of home runs. Pivetta certainly pounds the strike zone, and so the Braves have to really go up there with a good game plan and an aggressive approach, I think, today against Nick Pivetta, because he is not going to give up too many free passes, and the ball stays in the ballpark when Nick Pivetta is on the mound. So Pivetta and Wilson, a couple of good young right-handers going at it here today at 4:05 p.m. Eastern. Jim Powell and Joe Simpson will have the call for you on 680 The Fan and, of course, the Braves Radio Network all across the Southeast. Hopefully you'll join us for this one. And if you may have missed this, I wanted to throw this out there. If you missed, because we had both Bryce Wilson and Kyle Wright join Ben Ingram and myself on the Braves Clubhouse Report this past week. A really cool moment happened last week down at Disney as the Braves were finalizing their opening day roster. Bryce Wilson gets called into Snit's office. He comes out a couple of minutes later. Kyle Wright goes in. He comes out a couple of minutes later. Both guys not really wanting to show their emotions because they didn't know who got good news and who might have gotten bad news. So the two young right-handers are sitting at a table together at Disney World in the Braves clubhouse. And after a moment or two of silence, Bryce kind of looks at Kyle and says, so what'd they tell you? And he said, well, they told me I'm starting Game 3. And Bryce just lit up. He said, well, I'm starting Game 2. So these young starters that pushed each other all spring and all earned the opportunity to be on the roster certainly could not be happier for one another. So it was a nice moment, and I wanted to share that with everybody if you may have missed it on this past week's Braves Clubhouse Report. So again, Bryce Wilson, Nick Pivetta today. We will see Kyle Wright on the mound here in Philly for Sunday Night Baseball tomorrow. Again, a perfect day for baseball here in Philadelphia, and expect another capacity crowd here as this city is just bonkers for the Philadelphia Phillies. I got a chance to go to the Sixer game the other night, and everywhere you look, number 3 Harper jerseys as far as the eye can see. So this place, which the attendance had dropped the last few years, I expect to see another full house here at Citizens Bank Park today. But again, I don't expect that to bother Bryce Wilson in the least. This guy's a bulldog when he takes the mound. I love his composure. I love his competitiveness. I love the fact that he throws strikes. So hopefully he can turn the ball over to the Braves bullpen, hold down a W here today, and even up that series at a game apiece. Again, it's a 4:05 first pitch on a perfect day for baseball here in Philly, as Jim Powell and Joe Simpson will have the call on the Atlanta Braves Radio Network.